Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to your favorite place to be, where we're going to be kind of looking at, some things with Bitcoin Cash today. Obviously, Bitcoin Cash, the price has been, doing pretty well. And just looking at, relative volatility and why the price could be moving higher, why the price could actually be moving higher along with the volatility, the swings of the volatility becoming higher, and we're gonna look at like what do we need to look at? What if we're trading Bitcoin Cash? Do we need to look at these newer high numbers maybe as entry levels rather than exits? And why, as the crypto market evolves and the prices become higher on variation of coins, why these levels actually could be potentially um, entry points rather than looked at as, higher highs for people that have been kind of in the Bitcoin Cash community for, some time. Because, as somebody that's been in the Bitcoin Cash community for quite a while, I would say, I've literally been buying this coin and holding this coin and seeing this coin community evolve. I think I have like at least some type of idea of what it's like to be in this community. And like with the price over 600, it does seem to be kind of like I wouldn't say an ecstatic moment, because obviously we've seen Bitcoin Cash go upwards to 3,000 when it was during the block size wars, and then it crashed down to under $80, and then it went up to a little over $1,700, and then when it crashed back down to under $80, and then went up to 320, and then crashed again, and then went up to almost 700, crashed, and now we're back here at $600 in this range of like 580 to somewhere like in the 620 range. So I've been bringing this up here on the channel at least a little bit over the last few weeks, that it seems like the last few months, especially with like Bitcoin Cash specifically, that when you start looking at some of the charts and some of the trends, it is kind of a little bit more indicative of maybe uh, that there could be like this explosive price action kind of around the corner. And obviously the Bitcoin Cash community has been hopeful for this for some time, like especially you know um, the fact that we haven't really broke out, but like not at all, really. We haven't really broke out at all against Bitcoin. The price obviously has gone down. We'll pull up some charts to kind of illustrate that. But the optimism, guys, I feel like in this particular community has been growing quite a bit, at least for new people coming into the crypto space. It's much different. The Bitcoin Cash community is much different than it was a couple years ago, when basically there was literally just like you could count on one hand how many people were on the internet that weren't bots talking about Bitcoin Cash, and we were, one of those people. But it wasn't really gaining the same traction as it's been gaining now. Now that it's kind of like been a coin that is, you know, $600 plus, somewhere around that there, and like people that bought the coin, back in March of 2024, or on the hype, they're kind of like re-looking at this coin. So it's kind of like it's bringing on people that have already been in the Bitcoin Cash community for some time, and it's bringing those people kind of back around to it. There's people that have been here. There's the development side of stuff that is kind of this separate thing. And it's all pretty cool. It's all pretty cool, but there is like some chart stuff that I think that is worth looking at in terms of like the what if scenario. Like, what if Bitcoin Cash breaks 1,000? What if the trend on Bitcoin kind of stays in between 115 or 100, 110,000 to 120,000? Because like if you've been in the if been following the Bitcoin Cash price, the last few months, the rise up to 600 has been much different than like the spike to 600 back in March of 2024. And if you're following this channel, guys, obviously from the Grayscale side of stuff with Bitcoin Cash, Grayscale, it's kind of it's very apparent even more there, right? Because like we're back up to 600, but Bitcoin Cash Grayscale is sitting at, I think, a little over $4 last I checked. So it's not like exploding to 16 or but anyways, so the price here with Bitcoin Cash, guys, obviously a little over $600 today. It's September 15th. And we have for you on the screen pulled up. We have the log chart. We also have the chart here, guys. Obviously, some other things we're going to look at with like it compared to Bitcoin. We'll do some things here. Really, what it is, guys, I think that is the most important part is this recent jump that we've been experiencing since the crypto market has rallied back up over 110K for Bitcoin price. The volatility here, guys, that we're experiencing right here, that's illustrated by the RVI, which basically it's not none of these indicators, guys, first and foremost, not one indicator shows like the future of any of this stuff. Even if it was a combination of indicators, there's no way to really pinpoint it, but we can play off these indicators a little bit to kind of illustrate maybe where we're currently at, and maybe potentially where we're going here. All right, so we do have the pulled up for you here. We have the 5-year. We have the overall chart pulled up on the log graph. And if it's your first time tuning in, obviously, guys, this chart's going to look different from what else you're seeing on, Coin Market Cap or World Coin Index or anything. You're going to see a chart that kind of looks like this, right? It's going to have the block size war here, where Bitcoin Cash, went upwards. Speculation price of a little over $4,000. The hash rate had a lot to do with this. There were different components that are more on the tech side that drove the price here. We're not going to discuss that now, obviously, guys, because the hash rate now on Bitcoin Cash is nowhere near Bitcoin BTC, so it's not really relevant, right? To kind of look at this peak like, oh, well, it's been there before. Yeah, it has been there, but here we had the Bitcoin SV fork, right? The final dump. We had this kind of like this period of plus token scam where like coins like Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin went up, right? We had this consolidation, kind of this bear market here. We had the COVID pump, right, into COVID 2021. We had the FTX, the Terra Luna scam, right, that kind of broke the market, sent Bitcoin Cash coming down, right, to all the way down, to basically like $78. I think that was the low. Looks like it might be 75, somewhere around there. We had this random spike back in July that people just got lucky on, where it just shot up over $350 or somewhere around there, 330. Crashed back down, kind of went sideways for a bit, and March of 2024 into February, we rallied up pretty aggressively up to like over $700, I think, briefly. Chart saying a little over 700. We had the massive premium spike on Grayscale Bitcoin Cash. It didn't sustain. We had the presidential election, both presidents kind of blaming each other, right? That was this little crash here. And then we had the December of last year pump where Bitcoin went over 100K. All the altcoins rallied. It was basically just a correlated price pump with Bitcoin. But then we had this crash here, and this is kind of the part we're looking at right here that I want us to look at. And we'll pull it back up on log chart to give you an idea of kind of why I'm looking at this chart, because the chart for Bitcoin Cash up till right now has been all over the place. There's been some stuff where it broke out. We've had these random points like right here, like look at this giant candlestick right here. This was all just some random pump. This was another kind of random pump. There wasn't really anything like on the development side of Bitcoin Cash, or there were things happening, right? I'm not discrediting that, but there was not like there was nothing that was in line with the timing of these two pumps that you're seeing on the screen, right? It just kind of happened, disassociated from anything happening on the development side. So just kind of keep that in mind. But what I want to look at and what I think is important here, and we're going to show you kind of illustrating here later too with the price action on Bitcoin Core, where we do a price chart on the Bitcoin on BTC, where we're going to compare the Bitcoin Cash price to the BTC price, which is kind of ironic, right? That's kind of like, if you've been following the channel the entire time, that's kind of the ironic thing about it, is like, that's kind of where we started here on the channel, right? It was like actually down here, like right down here, somewhere around here. We're riding sideways. But yeah, so this jump right here, guys, is kind of what I'm looking at to be a little bit different. And it'll be illustrated here, guys. We'll show you here on the Bitcoin Cash versus BTC chart. And I haven't looked at it against Ethereum, but we can pull that one up too. Where we saw, like, we've seen this action become a little bit different. And obviously the price of BTC, you know, being over 100K and stagnating and then dropping down to 70K, 75K, and then going back up. But the jumps in the support levels on Bitcoin Cash right here have been a lot different and a lot stronger than any time that I can really remember. It doesn't seem like we're up in price, but it doesn't seem like we've had the volatility or the crazy spikes that we would anticipate from an altcoin market. You know, which we've had before. We can go right back here. You know, it's very easy to go right back to 2021 to give you an idea what I'm talking about. We just like shot up. We had 3 or 4 jumps that were pretty substantially big. But here, guys, right here on the chart on your screen, this has been a pretty aggressive rally, right? The last couple months for Bitcoin Cash. I mean, we went all the way down to $238. We're sitting at $600 today. And the consolidation periods have been really short, right? They haven't been really, there hasn't been like a giant pump up and then a crash, you know, sideways action, a giant pump up, a crash, sideways action. It's just been like this steady climb. And let me just pull up the Bitcoin Cash versus BTC chart, because I was looking at it a bit earlier. So let's see where it's at here. So like, let me give you an all chart. Let's just jump to the all. So up till this point, and just another history lesson here, guys, if you're just tuning in and you think I might be being too optimistic, this is really the only time where we've had multiple green candlesticks that show bullish momentum. and that's the crazy part too, is because I have for you pulled up here the relative volatility index, which, you know, does suggest, guys, that the volatility matches up with the upward price coming, right? That's kind of what this indicator suggests. Above 50 is going to be the fact that we're staying above 50, right? And until we get to 80, there's no reason that it should reverse. That's what this RVI does. It basically tracks the volatility against a crypto or a stock, and it measures that volatility based on a price deviation index that is bearish under 50, and it's bullish bullish over 50, right? That's what this RVI does. So, you know, it's ironic, right? When I pull it up, then I switch it to BTC, pull it up here and maximize it on your screen here, that the price action that I just illustrated for you here, guys, the difference in the price that we've had in the past, where we've spiked up to 700, or even when we spiked up to 1700, when we throw that and we slap it against Bitcoin, and there it is, by the way, it's May of 2021. It's absolutely, you know, it's a big jump, right? It's a big jump on the volatility, obviously, but all the cryptos were volatile, right? And if we go back before then, we didn't really break out too much farther past. So if we use that same analysis, right, and we put it over here, we shouldn't be this high. We shouldn't be just now at $600, 600 US dollars, crossing into bullish territory. We should already be like, oh yeah, we're bullish. Look at the price. We came from $78 to 600 on Bitcoin Cash. That would just be the bullish price, right? That's not what's going on here, guys. Okay, that's not what we're anticipating. What we're actually anticipating, at least what I'm looking at, is this little price spike right here from March of 2025 has been a lot different than the price spikes that we've seen in the past, right? And let's pull it up again, give you an idea. So that's why this RVI is so important, guys, because it shows that the volatility on Bitcoin Cash, people should actually be playing into it. There's actually room for this thing to move. And until it gets up to, these higher levels up here, and even when it spikes up down here to 80, above 80, where there could be price reversal, that price is going to be upwards over $1,000. Okay, that's going to be 0.001 and above BTC price. So that's going to be putting the price over 1,000. And it could consolidate a little bit, maybe, right? It could go up to 1,000 or 1,500 or break all-time highs, maybe hit 2,000 or 1,700, crash back down a little bit, lose maybe, I don't know, a third of its value, head down to 13, 1,400, and then it could keep going, right? This could obviously, this is just saying us where we're at. This graph could obviously change, but the price action here, guys, is really strong on Bitcoin Cash. Is all I'm saying, against the BTC price, because, like, again, it's just been random pumps. There hasn't been any type of, I mean, I guess you might could say over here March of 2019, but again, this was the Plus token scam where, Litecoin and a bunch of other cryptos, people were using payment coins because they were fast and cheap and they could get out of, they could move money around really fast. So you can't really look at this one, really. And I would even go as far to say if Plus token scam didn't happen, we would have just been right here either way, right? So where we're at now, guys, it looks like Bitcoin Cash is setting up for maybe something bullish. Drop it in the comments and let me know if you think that the volatility is matching up kind of where Bitcoin Cash price is going. And just keep it in mind, guys. Keep this coin in mind to take a peek at if you're not in it, or you're looking at coins that you can own an entire coin for under $1,000. Last I checked, Bitcoin Cash I think was sitting at number 17 on the charts. It was one of the number one volume coins during the bear market of 2022, and that obviously it fell down. Not gonna lie, the volume did go down. There were other coins that pulled ahead, but it's still number 19 on the volume charts. Okay, so actually, hold on, was that true? Yeah, number 19 on the volume charts. So, it's a cap coin. It's got mining. Let me know what you think. It's at $593 today. That's a little under $12 billion market cap. It seems to be kind of the support zone between 9 billion and a little over 12 billion seems to be kind of where we're kind of playing with this particular coin. So let me know what you think, guys. You think the price could edge higher? What do you think? Drop it in the comments. Let me know.